Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, and we're looking at the GOAT, Todd McShay himself. He's got a post-Super Bowl mock draft, so we're going to go in and get his perspective. But what's crack-a-lackin' is your boy, Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro, and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I always like to chat with y'all about this, but prospect rankings, they're slowly coming out. I'm actually waiting for my offensive tackle one to upload. It's got a few seconds on it, or a few minutes, so I'll probably end up making it live during this video, and then you'll see this video actually 2 hours after I record it. So look at that, behind the scenes with Broshmo. I mean, hey, I'm transparent. Now y'all know we're on the first name basis. Let's do this. So let's go ahead and see what Todd McShay has got going on in this mock. I believe he does include a couple of trades, if I'm not mistaken, but he goes Evan Neal with the first pick in his mock draft. See, we got the Detroit Lions coming up next. He was unable to do a trade. Tough luck. But Evan Neal makes a ton of sense for the Jags, protecting your investment in Trevor Lawrence. They did just draft Travis Etienne, though I don't know if if they really initially planned him to be a running back. He might be more the scat back, this guy that also works probably out of the slot and whatnot in the passing game. It'll be interesting to see what they do there down in Jacksonville, but getting protection ain't a bad thing. Aiden Hutchinson's also a consideration here, obviously, for Todd, excuse me, but I don't know. I tend to lean towards going with Evan Neal myself, so I like this pick. Detroit Lions, they go Aiden Hutchinson. Y'all know me. I've talked about how, hey, whether you like Aiden Hutchinson, KT, go with whoever the top guy is on your board, especially in a quarterback class. That's kind of sus. In case you didn't know what I said there. But, yeah, no, Aiden Hutchinson, perfect. Hometown boy. Makes sense. KT, I like KT a lot. He would be a consideration. I know a lot of Lions fans would love Kyle Hamilton. I think if you could potentially work a trade down, that would be awesome, just because, safety value. You want to be paying a safety top 2 overall money. I don't know necessarily, but maybe they value what Hamilton could bring. They see more of a versatile role for him, which is all well and good. But yeah, no dispute here. Houston Texans go Kyle Hamilton. This is a tone shifter. A lot of people have been mocking him here, and I just don't know how you pass. I feel like you got more high value places to address, whether it's with the offensive line or edge rush. There's just higher value positions, though. Does look like Justin Reed's on the way out, and then what you're left with, what are you left with? Eric Murray, and is it Lonnie Johnson that they have over there? Yeah, it's Lonnie Johnson. So maybe getting Kyle Hamilton would be a plus. Like, I'm not going to dispute it. He's a top 5 prospect in this class. Sorry, I got a notification. I'm trying to do a video sometime in the future with a few other big names, big whales in my niche. So be on the look for that, man. I'm trying to expand the conversation, dude. I'm trying to take it outside of just this little community that we have here on the Broshmo channel. So be on the look for that. But yeah, no, I'm not going to dispute it. Kyle Hamilton, you know what? He's a top 5 prospect for a lot of people. He is definitely a top 5 one on my board. So let's do it. With KT left on the board, the Jets decided to go with Ken McWanu. And I laughed just because I assumed KT would be the pick here. Just knowing how much the San Francisco 49ers, they kind of value pass rush. But again, Joe Douglas loves the trenches. So like it could go either or at Kem. I like the idea of the Jets saying, hey, let's really, really invest in the offensive line, invest in maybe in the playmaker department in terms of receiver, and see what we got in Zach Wilson. Is he a guy we feel good about moving forward? By the way, if you didn't know, now you know. My top 10 offensive tackle prospects are up on the board. So we went through all the hog mollies. Tomorrow's video is probably linebackers, so be on the look for that tomorrow. But no, I love Akem, dude. He's going to be like a top 10 prospect for me. I tend to think maybe Charles Cross might be a better fit, but I'm not gonna neglect Kem, a guy who likes to get upfield and attack and bury people, put them 6 feet under. I like that. I like that a lot. As Jim Carrey once said, I like it a lot. Dumb and Dumber, man. Dumb and Dumber. Awesome movie. Then obviously we're seeing KT go here to the Giants. Just great value. Even if you end up missing out on the next tackle in this class being Charles Cross. Because if you think about it, at 7, it'd be a kind of a reach for Trevor Pennon, Bernhard Raimann, or even Kenyon Green. And I love Kenyon Green. So, but I mean, Tyler Linderbaum's there, so I know they really do want to address the offensive line, but you can't pass up on KT. He's a top 3 prospect, top 2, maybe number 1 overall for some people. He was certainly coming into the year. Something's changed, but I don't know, for some people they've stayed the same. We'll talk about that when we get to my edge rankings. But, no, yeah, can't pass up on KT. Pass rush is a big need for them G-men. So here's the $1 million question. What do the Carolina Panthers do? Do they use this pick on a quarterback? If they don't, I'll talk about why I think they have to. They go Ahmad Sauce Gardner. Jeez Louise. All right, so corner is not a bad option. Excuse me, not a bad option. Who he talks about Stephon Gilmore, Dante Jackson, both are free agents. They do have CJ Henderson too there with JC Horn. They got a guy that they drafted what was his name? Troy Pride Jr. that's still on the roster. I mean, you're not gonna not consider taking a corner here, but like I really feel like if they were gonna take someone, it'd probably be Charles Cross, because the offensive line's kind of in shambles outside of Taylor Moton. But let me tell y'all why this pick is going to be used on a quarterback, whether it's via trade or they just go ahead and take somebody. Matt Rule's on the hot seat. What can save you or maybe buy you another year is taking a quarterback with this pick. Be like, oh no, this is my guy for the future. Give me a year to groom him, and let's see where he is in his development in year 2. Because that's kind of how this class is. There's not a lot of start from day 1 prospects. That may alleviate some of that, some of that hotness going on in the chair. Going offensive tackle won't. It just won't. Because he's still going to be stuck with same terrible quarterback play. But then he has a rookie quarterback, which you're not going to start immediately anyway. But he's going to have a rookie quarterback behind an offensive line that's just in shambles. It's like, listen, to some extent, like you can scheme around a poor offensive line and kind of hide the deficiencies of maybe the decision making of your quarterback through like an RPO heavy offense. That's just kind of the case. The Dolphins did it with Tua. It worked out. While yes, they were still basically a mediocre 500 win team, it helps. It'll at least alleviate that hot seat. Or you're using a trade to get maybe Deshaun Watson if everything gets cleared up with that, or you just going out and trying to get one of the like quarterbacks, maybe Derek Carr, maybe Kirk Cousins, maybe Russell Wilson. I doubt that he'd want to come to Carolina, but you never know. But that's just my view on it. You might be like, well, build the offensive line. You're not going to be any better though with guys like Cam Newton, PJ Walker, Sam Darnold there under center. And you're going to lose your job. You got to understand, this is a desperation pick. This is your only pick in the top 100. This is a desperation pick for Matt Rule. So while Panther fans, I know there's a lot of what you want to do, it's probably not going to be what Matt Rule does. That's just what I think. So let me know if you think I'm incorrect in that like philosophy of Matt Rule has to like go quarterback here in some form, some fashion. But I know a lot of Panther fans are like, no, we got to build up the offensive line. But it's like, listen, that's not saving Matt Rule's job. That's just not the case. And you may be like, good, we don't want Matt Rule there. Well, Matt Rule wants Matt Rule there. So, yeah, that's Broshmo's take on it. Let's continue. The Giants, they go Charles Cross, big surprise. Their offensive line ain't bad, and they get a better by going with Cross here, who honestly Like, Cross has a lot of impressive tape this year. It wouldn't surprise me if Cross ends up the first tackle off the board. Yeah, I said it, and I love Evan Neal, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was the first tackle off the board. Atlanta Falcons go Drake London. Listen, I'm going corner here, man. Like, Derek Stingley. Like, I'm on board. I'm totally behind Atlanta's going corner with this pick. You might be like, oh, the pass rush, there's nobody there. Dante Fowler. They actually just released him before free agency. I get it, but it's a deep edge class. You could find a quality starter there in the second round, and you're not going to just save the pass rush with just one pick here. Pairing up AJ Terrell with Derek Stingley here, I think is just fascinating. And I do get that the wide receiver position, I think the only guys under contract are who is it? Calvin Ridley, who's probably going to be traded. And I don't think anyone of real substance, because Russell Gage, probably your next best receiver, he's a free agent. So it does make sense that they could go wide receiver here, especially if they get to pick the top guy off the board. They get their pick of the gander. It would make sense. So I'm not gonna be too strict on this. It's really the Panthers pick that I'm kind of like, I got a nitpick with. All right, let's see what the Denver Broncos. Okay, they go linebacker. I don't disagree if they end up getting quarterback elsewhere and like Jimmy G. Will Denver end up with Aaron Rodgers? That's the question. We're all waiting. We don't know. We just don't know, because this pick then would go to Green Bay. Drew Lock deserves a shot to compete. Calm down. I don't know if there's some Drew Lock believers still out there. I feel bad for y'all. I just feel bad because that's where I was with John Beck back in the day in Miami. Oh, we just got to build around him. No, you don't. He's just not that good. But I do believe going linebacker here makes a ton of sense, especially if you get the first pick, and Devin Lloyd and Nakobe Dean are extremely good prospects. So you got they list out here Alexander Johnson, Josie Jewell, and Keenan Young are all free agents. Derek Stingley going to the Jets. You got to understand the value of Derek Stingley. It's going to be hard. I don't think he falls out of the top 10 unless at the combine the medicals just go far south with the ankle. But getting someone next to Bryce Young would be huge. You got good sub-package players in Brandon Echols and Guidry. Michael Carter is a solid slot for now. So, yeah, no, I think that's good. I don't mind going with the receiver here. Like, I know I did it in my mocks that Treylon Burks is a very tempting option. And I'm glad some of y'all got behind that, because I thought maybe that was just maybe too soon for some people to really come around to, since we haven't seen the combine yet. But I'm glad for the most part the Jets community got behind me on that pick, because I've been very harsh to y'all when it comes to Derek Stingley. Now, I'm not saying it's not unwarranted, but so yeah, no, I understand Stingley here just because the value. Kenny Pickett going to the Commanders. This is the first pick that the Comrags make. They go with Pickett, who's probably more pro ready. Yes, there's concerns. Ooh, I like the idea of them trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. Just someone who can maybe efficiently run your offense. He'll provide some upside. Yeah, he'll have some costly moments, but it buys you time that you don't have to go in on a quarterback class. That's kind of weird. So I don't mind that idea, but he still goes with Kenny Pickett despite that. Listen, you go check out my quarterback rankings. I know some of y'all here in Shires doesn't matter, and let's just say it. That's small. That's itty bitty. That's small penile energy you're putting out there. No quarterback has started in the NFL modern era with sub 9-inch hands outside of Michael Vick. Kenny Pickett ain't no Michael Vick. Do we really need to get into this? He didn't look great handling NFL-sized football. He went back to wearing two gloves on one hand during the Senior Bowl game. You'd be like, well, he was good. He was listen, he may have efficiently got the offense down the field. He made a lot of safe passes. And the one pass, like that was on like third and whatever, it was an underthrow. It looked like he had significantly, it looked like his arm strength was the worst among the quarterbacks there in Mobile. Like, I got a lot of reservations about Kenny Pickett. He probably still ends up in the first round. I wouldn't do it, but again, I'm not willing to bet that Kenny Pickett's this exception when it comes to having 9-inch hands or more. And then Minnesota Vikings, Trent McDuffie, man. I love Trent McDuffie, dude. This dude's a great athlete. Real great athlete. The cornerback room is terrible there for Minnesota. You're really working with Cameron and Dantzler and then nobody. I love the pick. I love Trent McDuffie. Some teams might be worried about his length, but I don't think that'll be a big concern. As long as it's not like sub 30 inches. And you might be like, I'm stuck up on length. Like, that's kind of an important thing when it comes to the NFL. I'm sorry. You don't have a lot of sub 30-inch arm length corners starting on the outside. The best of the best were Cameron Sutton, who it's like, maybe they should put him back in the slot, and Dante Jackson, who has been a roller coaster. So, I don't know. That's just me. I'm a guy that just doesn't bet on the exception, especially this early in the draft. I wonder where George Karlaftis goes. Everyone's all over the map with him. I just think his skill set just translates well to the NFL. It's just the question is he as explosive? And I was watching, who was it? It was Trevor Sikkema. He comped him to Trey Hendrickson. And I'm interested to see if he tests out like Trey Hendrickson, because I think that is a very good comp. Hey, Garrett Wilson, Browns. Do we need to talk about more? Everyone's mocking receiver to the Browns. Tyler Linderbaum, though, going to the Ravens. I like it. Tyler Linderbaum, one of the best, probably the best interior prospect in this class. Going to Baltimore, where it's like, hey, we like to have a good offensive line. Last year we were kind of beat up, and it cost us. So, yeah, having him here, quite nice. I have a hard time seeing Linderbaum falling out of the top 15. So let's go see what the Eagles do with both these picks. Nakobe Dean, so they go linebacker. I've been saying, hey, linebacker makes a ton of sense just because they haven't drafted one in 40 years and it's their weakest, or least a deep position group on the roster. So what do they do with two? Ooh, Trayvon Walker. Listen, a lot of people around the NFL community right now, where it is, they love Trayvon Walker. I get it, because his physical tools are immense, but it's a guy that needs some work. He needs some work. He doesn't have a lot of. He's not polished as a pass rusher. He's not exactly this guy that's while he was asked to step back in coverage a few times, it's not like his lateral ability is all that, but just what he brings from a power standpoint, length, explosiveness, it's intriguing. It's really everyone and their mom's going to comp him to Rashawn Gary, who took about a season and a half to really get things going. And now, this year, he was phenomenal. So, yeah, I could see the NFL fall in love with Trayvon Walker, while I feel better about him probably at the bottom of the first round, though. And then he does have a trade. He does do trades. He has the Chargers trading down with the Steelers trading up, and we all know this is Malik Willis because Mike Tomlin was talking to his family. It means that he loves them. Maybe it may be smoke. There's not necessarily fire when there's smoke, but typically when there's smoke, there's fire. So they go Malik Willis. Big surprise. Hey, dude, this is a great predicament any quarterback gets to go into with while the offensive line's not all the way put together, I think they got good parts going forward. I think Dan Moore showed a bit more than I expected. I wasn't that high on him. And then Kendrick Green, you got to expect him better in year 2, or maybe they move him back to his more natural position being guard. Then you obviously got wonderful weapons in Najee Harris, and notice how I emphasize Najee, not Najee. But also got Deontay Johnson. You have Chase Claypool. So it's a good predicament. Let's see if he does that with the Saints. He does. He goes with Matt Corral. Apparently no one's high on my boy Sam Howell. It's all right. But Matt Corral, I felt a lot better about him after the Senior Bowl, which would be like he wasn't at the Senior Bowl. It's like, yeah, it's kind of how the quarterbacks looked at the Senior Bowl. That I was like, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on Matt Corral, but I don't think he's a guy that's ready to start now. I do think even if they re-sign Winston, they go in quarterback here, getting a guy on a cheap contract would be good. They're going to be losing a lot of big name free agents such as Marcus Williams, Taron Armstrong, just because, well, salary cap's going to come back and bite them this year. So grabbing, I think, a guy on a rookie deal, a quarterback on a rookie deal is kind of a good way to go. And Matt Corral, he's got a good arm. He is a guy that needs to learn how to read, or at least go through progressions. But you like his escapability. He has that plus athleticism that the NFL is going to covet a lot nowadays, especially after just seeing Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, how they were able just to extend plays with their feet and keep plays alive. You're going to see a lot of NFL teams like try to gravitate to more mobile quarterbacks. Not saying that they have to. I'm just saying I think that's a trend that we're going to see. And then this pick in 19 is the Eagles. Treylon Burks, baby! I love Treylon Burks. I think he's going to test out like a freak. Makes all the sense in the world getting a guy that is pretty darn different to Devontae Smith. You got 3 picks in the first round unless they trade one of these or unless they use one of their picks as trade capital. If you're going to be using 3 picks in the first round, then I think wide receiver makes sense because you're not just a finished product there. He's a guy that would help out Jalen Hurts a ton, a guy that could create after the catch, a guy that could go up and be a contested catch guy downfield. So, yeah, I like it. Chargers, Jordan Davis. Their run defense sucks. While it's not a sexy pick, while it's a pick everyone's making, it's one that makes sense. So I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh about it. It's a solid pick. It's not like sexy, but it's solid. It makes sense. It's about the range you start to think about Jordan Davis. Plus you trade down and you're able to get extra picks out of it. So I like that. Ooh, Kyler Gordon. This is going to be interesting because Kyler Gordon is by no means a finished prospect. I think this year was his first year of like legit start and play. But he had to play across from Trent McDuffie. And you did see a bit rawness in his instincts and his just how he sees the field, how he reads and reacts. There's a bit of hesitancy there, which makes sense when this is your first significant playing time. But you see the ball skills. He's like 6'3", probably 6'2", 200 pounds, good length, great athlete. Like, there's a lot to like about him there, and especially when you got free agents like J.C. Jackson, who I swear, New England, if you let him get away, you are mad. You are mad, mad, mad. But even still, I would be willing to take Kyler Gordon to start across from Jackson at some point. So Kyler Gordon's definitely interested in the name. I like seeing that he's making these jumps in first rounds. While I don't know if he necessarily goes in the first round, I don't have a first round grade on him. Yeah, I definitely can see from a physical tools standpoint that, yeah, he is a guy that could start to go in this late first round. And it's a name you definitely want to highlight. The Oakland, geez Louise, Las Vegas Raiders. Come on, y'all been in Las Vegas for a year. I should get this. 2 years. They go Chris Olave. This is a no-brainer pick. Oh, dang. Okay, Todd. This is a no-brainer pick. I like it. He'd be a good addition to Zay Jones really emerged. I think they bring him back on maybe a relatively cheap deal because it looked like him and Derek Carr were really getting good chemistry together. You got Hunter Renfrow as this just great slot player. Getting a guy who can win downfield, who actually has like a very good route tree, a very polished route runner. I I think it makes sense. Grab more weapons, especially if your offensive line isn't going to be necessarily like desirable. Though they could do that in free agency. I don't know what their cap space situation is looking like, so maybe they can. Cardinals, Jermaine Johnson, Chandler Jones, free agent. So yeah, it makes sense that they would go maybe with an edge rusher. You could definitely go corner. The Cardinals are kind of in a pickle when it comes to what they can do free agent wise, but I'm liking corner, I'm liking edge, I'm liking receiver. Jermaine Johnson to me is probably a top 20 prospect. He's just like safe, you know, you're going to get a few Pro Bowl years out of him. While he might not necessarily be elite all the time, you know, he's going to be solid, he's going to be steady. I like Jermaine Johnson. Dallas Cowboys, David Ajabo. Forgot he was on board. Karlaftis is still on the board too. Jeez Louise. That's wild. So Cowboys, they go with Randy Gregory is a free agent. So Ajabo would at least fill in initially. Because keep in mind, teams are going to be drafting Ajabo just because of what he can be. He hasn't seen a lot of significant time, like playing time. Became a starter week 5, week 6. I can't remember which. You would think I would look and I'd be able to accurately convey that information to y'all, but I'm sorry. I haven't gone back over my edge class just yet. I'm still working on my corners today. So not sorry, but a lot of this, like where he goes depends on how teams view what he can be. And for a team that did take Randy Gregory in the past, granted he fell for a variety of different reasons, but he did. Ajabo, that could be a ceiling. He hits Gregory. It could be a Daniel Hunter. There's a few ceilings that teams are going to be like, oh man, he can be this guy. We'll take this guy. So like this is a good range for him anyway. So I kind of like it. Buffalo Bills, Andrew Booth, Levi Wallace is a free agent. You're at this point in the draft. Like this is where I think we see the corners start to go off the board once again. Cause like after McDuffie, Sauce, and Steenley, I think the class kind of takes this big step down. There's no real tier 2 guy, I believe, in this class. I think you're jumping immediately to tier 3 where you're looking at Kyler Gordon, Andrew Booth, Roger McCreary, Kyer Elam. So those are probably like this next tier of guys, and they feel like more back at the end of the first round type of guys. So Booth would be a good addition here. I still like the idea of maybe getting more protection for, hey Gojo, more protection for Allen. But yeah, no, I mean, this is a good pick too. So it's like, for me, it's like guard, receiver, corner, not necessarily in that order, but those are picks they'd probably make. Tennessee Titans, I'm curious, what you doing? George Karlaftis, forgot you were still on the board. So this is a kind of nice pick, kind of safe pick. Oh look, I already went to the Bucks. Oh well, we'll talk about Titans real quick. He kind of mentions Pennant or Ryman here. I kind of like that. You could also throw in Kenyon Green. He's still on the board. Those are interesting picks that they can make for the offensive line. But if you go defensively, especially if they let Landry walk, grabbing Karlaftis is kind of nice. I think it'd be interesting to see what kind of role they would have for him. That would be kind of interesting, especially with Bud Dupree. I feel like that'd be a similar role to what Bud Dupree would be doing. Because Landry, keep in mind, this guy was an Iron Man. He's a guy that they had no problem dropping in coverage. Karlaftis, you're not going to ask that from him. But the value is really good here. Jameson Williams going to the Bucks. Listen. It's good. You got AB. He's a free agent. Well, he's gone. But Chris Godwin also going to be a free agent. So Gronkowski, you think he's going to want to come back without Brady? I don't think so. So Kyle Trask, whoever's back there, a quarterback, get in a good route runner, a good separator. And that's kind of like Williams' calling card. That's like, hey, my stop ability is like elite. What I can do vertically for your squad is top notch. So it'd be a good spot to see him go in. What receivers are still left? Jahan Dotson. George Pickens. I think we just saw the top 5 go. Technically, I guess my top 5. And we saw Garrett Wilson go. We saw Burks. We saw London. We saw Williams. So, yeah, the top 5 and Olave. So, yeah, this would be a good landing spot for Williams. Green Bay Packers, Devontae Wyatt. Getting someone next to Kenny Clark. That'd be cool. Devontae Wyatt's a kind of like plug and play now. I think if you could get him in a defense where you could ask him to be this gap penetrator rather than someone who is more of this gap controller would be nice. Then again, not to say he can't do it. Most of the time he was asked to kind of be this run contain first type of guy. But with his explosiveness, he's someone you want to be like, go and get it. Get after it, son. So, no, this is a nice pick. It's not like a sexy pick, but it's a nice pick. Dolphins, Trevor Penning. Listen, Dolphins, they better address offensive line free agency really hard. Trevor Penning, by no means is he ready to start. And then you could be like, well, we could start him immediately at guard. Well, you should move Liam Eichenberg to left guard. You got Robert Hunt at right guard. Then what are you going to be doing with Penning? Oh, we'll put him at right tackle. Great. Then Tua's in trouble. This guy's not ready to start. I'd rather go with Ryman, who I think actually is probably a better scheme fit. And Dolphins are in this position where they're going to miss out probably on the top receivers on the board here. It'll be really interesting if what the Dolphins do if they don't trade up, if they just sit on this pick. Man, really wish we didn't give our pick away to the frickin' Eagles. Yeah, I'm a little salty about that. So this one's interesting. All right, Jahan Dotson going to the Chiefs. Listen, edge. You're going edge. You're going edge. You're going corner. I think, or let's just say secondary. Maybe they jump on like a Daxton Hill here. But I think you're addressing the defense. Do you really need to like better equip your offense? I don't think so. And if so, I'm looking for a guy with size. Like maybe you're there in the 3rd round, you trade up, or maybe even with the last pick of the 2nd round, you go like a Christian Watson. I think that would be an awesome pick. So I'm not in love with them going receiver here, or at least Dotson. And if you're going receiver, why not Pickens? Like I'd be looking for more size. That's just me though. That's just me. Bengals. Bernhard Raimann. Wow, is he not going to have Zion Johnson go in the 1st round? That's interesting. So they get Raimann, who can start on the outside. I think he can start at guard too. I think he's a bit more pro than people give him credit for. Keep in mind, this guy's strong. He benches 450 pounds. Not a lot of pop to his hands just yet. He needs to learn that. But excellent movement skills. I think he's tailor-made for Zach Taylor's offense. So I like Ryman. I like him going ahead of Penning too. No Kenyon Green? Well, I mean, this is Lions pick. There's no way they go green. There's no way they go offensive line. Sam Howell, my boy. I forgot he was still on the board. Listen, Lions, I like the idea of swinging for the fences with this pick and being like, we could get a 5th-year option on a quarterback. Don't have to start him right away. You know he's got an elite arm. Like, you know the talent's there with Sam Howell. It's just about getting better at going through progressions with him. He's got plus athleticism. I like this pick. Maybe you do not. But wow, we saw offensive line kind of fall in terms of Kenyon Green, which I bet you Todd sees him as an interior player. I don't. I think he could play tackle. But as you probably found out if you have seen my offensive tackle video. If you're not, what you doing? Go to that video right now. But yeah, even Zion Johnson falling out. That's kind of wild. Interesting mock. I firmly disagree with the Panthers pick. I firmly disagree with the Kansas City Chiefs pick. Dolphins pick is what it is, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. You let me know what you think. What picks did you hate in this mock draft? Or what picks did you really like? You let me know in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful, sensual football discourse. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.